game, bro.
It was Jaylen Warren with that big run. I just feel like we probably should have went to him more and, kept him in there as our RB1 because it does seem like, and this could be a knock against Canada too. Now, whatever way you want to flip this, because every time Najee gets out there, things just slow down and feels like we're in slow motion.
So I'll just say from personal experience, I know.
And I feel like they're keying in on Najee that we're going to run it. I swear every time he's out there, we're running it with Najee. 80% of the time at least.
Just personal experience, some of those decisions when you talking first round draft picks are bigger and above the pay grade of coordinators. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
You know we've talked about this before. Yeah,
Either way, let's stop doing that.
It's certain things where, that's their biggest investment.
You literally heard the announcer say, this plays in slow motion.
Right,
we handed it off to Najee.
Listen, we said the same thing, right? We was like,
and it's predictable.
When we watch, we always ask ourselves, if Najee had this ball, would he have went to the house? The run that Jaylen Warren took 74 yards for a touchdown. If Najee Harris was running, how far do you think he gets?
A first down, maybe.
That's the reality of it. So we understand that, one's a first rounder, one's an undrafted guy. So they do have to manage this thing very carefully just for the dynamic of the team and for that running back room, because you still do see where both of them do work well together. I think it was certain things that Najee does well in terms of taking some of the load off of Jaylen, doing some of that body punching stuff. I still like when Najee's in pass protection. I think he does an excellent job there. But at the same time, we know, 30 gives us a lot more ability to have a home run threat, to have an explosive play. Like you said, that toss play was nothing spectacular. It was nothing out the ordinary. But it was a player stepping up, rising above, playmaking. And that's the thing that we kind of lose sight of this year in terms of, because our offense hasn't executed to the extent that we want to put more of this on coaching, where as when we talk about it, it's like, man, football is a simple game in terms of X's and O's schematics. But in terms of how you make it work, is your player beating that other guy in that one-on-one. Jaylen Warren does an excellent job of consistently making dudes miss in the hole. He does an excellent job of when he's out in the open field, man, making dudes have to open them hammies up, man, and sprint with it, right? But that's his consistency. I just think across the board, we got to get better with those type of avenues, man, for our offense to get to where we want it to be.
You see Najee's not happy.
And rightfully so. But at the same time, it's like, this is cause and effect. The only reason why this guy gets more reps and people are talking about him more and are more excited to see him is because of you not doing it with the opportunities that you were given. I mean, we could say the same even with, any of these dudes that we have seen get rotated out, right? Levi Wallace, we were complaining about him to an extent, right? Patrick Peterson, we complained about him to an extent. Broderick Jones, Chooks Okorafor, right? All these other positions we represent, or we acknowledge competition. We acknowledge, if a player isn't playing well, it's like, man, we got to make some moves. The first round element makes it unique because we know the investment. We know technically they're supposed to be the guys. So when it doesn't work for them, now it's like awkward. And I think with Najee, we're experiencing that. And I think to an extent, even how people are viewing Kenny, I think that's also part of the thing where it's like, you can't bring competition, or it can't be a switch or any type of openness to this thing because of the first round tag. And that's some of the politics part that comes with it. Can't hate it. It just is what it is. But I think for Najee, it's a similar thing. It's like, man, this dude is used to getting the touches. He's not used to splitting the backfield. He's not used to having to come out in critical moments or be viewed as the bad guy because the offense didn't execute on the last drive. 3 throws. They like, why you ain't giving the 30? You're like, dang, what Najee do, man?
Nothing. I think it's personnel issue. Let's just not put it in Najee's hands.
It's like,
Let's just leave Jaylen Warren out there almost all the time. When he's rolling, man, he's rolling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. And then when you get Najee out there, I swear to God, tell me if I'm wrong. We're running at 75% of the time. And if we're not, Najee's not even a threat in the passing game.
Well, that's the issue. It's not that it's predictable that it's run. It's predictable that it's not pass. With Jaylen Warren, you don't know if it's run or pass because he can do
we're
both.
dumping off a screen to him, anything.
And he has the ability to take a 3-yard screen play 80 yards. We've seen him do multiple things now where you really have to respect his ability. Whereas with Najee, when on tape have you seen him have an explosive run over 30 yards? When have you seen him make a guy, run up out his hamstrings? When have we seen him be like, you know what, I'm going to make these two guys miss?
He's got a couple hurdles and he's got a stiff arm or two. as a highlight reel.
Nothing that is threatening from a home run capacity, though.
Right. No.
So, as a defender, we're not trying to defend everything. He who defends everything defends nothing. Shout out to my man Dick LeBeau. That was one of the things he told me when we would have conversations about stopping offenses. And, you know, I have all my questions. Coach, why you don't run this? Well, if we run this coverage, why won't stop that? How we going to stop this? It's like, Mose, you can't stop everything, man. If you try to stop everything, you're not going to stop nothing. So when Najee comes on the field, you play the probabilities. What are the probabilities that he can hurt me in the pass game? Slim to none. What can Najee hurt me with? Downhill run. So when I see Najee on that field, I'm biting on his mouthpiece. I'm ready to come downhill in his A-gap, and I'm saying if it's play action pass, I'm going to blitz it anyways.
Yeah, you're not worried about him going outside.
Right. Whereas when Jaylen is out there, I'm like, okay, not only do I have to worry about the run, and he's a shorter back, so I really got to be fundamentally sound because I might lose him back there. And he's fast enough that if I miss him, he gone. So I got to respect that a little bit more. He's also a threat in the pass game. So when he's out there, I also can't just say, oh, we coming downhill. Because if he fast release, I got to chase that. And if he catch it and we chasing, man, you seen corners running after this man on that field.
I couldn't believe the 70-yard run. I was waiting for someone to tackle him.
When you go 70,
I hadn't seen a run like that in probably decades from the Steelers.
When you go 70 in the National Football League, that's a different type of speed. That's when we used to laugh when people was like, yo, Juju's slow, and he went 99 in Detroit. We're like, no, It's too much speed across the board out there. Our big guys run fast. Man, I done seen Tua go get something. We done talked about Cam going to get something. Our big guys run fast. So it's like when you start talking about a dude being able to go that far, you like, okay, that's legitimate. That's big time speed. Jaylen got that. We know that's not Naj's game, though.
You see why I was talking about Abanikanda, though?
I definitely do. Because he does fit more in line with that, whereas for Naj,
could you imagine a Abanikanda Warren Backfield for us right now?
Yes, but you can't sell that. You can't sell that when you got the first rounder as Najee. That's a hard sell to be like, yo, I'm going to go from my first rounder to Izzy, who is technically still a relative
Just get Izzy on the field. That could be a quick sell.
That's a tough one, bro.
Deal with some bad PR for a week when you make the trade, but once you get Izzy on the field,
that's a tough one.
This play will speak for itself.
This first round, Najee. Like, when you throw a first round tag on it,
it is what it is.
It's not when you throw the first round tag on it. That changes the dynamic of how you handle it. Think about all the first rounders, even the guys that were bust, the guys that didn't produce to the extent that we thought they should produce to. They still got every single opportunity because they're the first rounder, man.
I get what you're saying. Because we do lean more that way here. I'm not saying it's the right way to do things, though.
And you know how
49ers,
I feel
they moved off Trey Lance real quick.
Listen, from a personal perspective, I 100% back you on that because it hurt me at times in my career. And I'm like, bro, I don't like this. But that's the Steeler way. And I do understand if that's what you're going to say is your way, they are consistent with that messaging. And it's important to be consistent because when you do have to make these type of moves like we're even seeing in the backfield, it's like, man, we're going to do this, but we're still going to give you opportunity. So, you know, we're not doing this because we want to. We're doing this because you've given us literally no other option. And when we're watching the running game, it's literally, you can make the case, no other option. If we want to look productive, explosive, and more dynamic, less predictable, put 30 out there. When you're trying to send a message and you want to just punch them in the face, put 22 out there. But I think you got to be real intentional about their usage going forward in order to make it the most optimal for not just the offense, but for Kenny. Because I think for him, he benefits also when he has 30 out there because it is an easier thing. Another fault that I had when we're talking Canada, right? Told you about just the schematics of the screen. The other part was I do wish he would have went to what he did versus Green Bay. Versus Green Bay when Kenny was struggling. He went quick passes to Deontay Johnson, turns those quick wide receiver screens, and he started fast releasing Jaylen Warren, not running screens, just releasing him, dumping it off, getting him in the flat, and let him make a play.
You can do that all day.
Easy throws that are high percentage in terms of he's going to make a guy miss and get positive yards. He's going to make your third downs a lot more manageable. I think that was one of the things that I would have liked to have seen Canada switch to when we're talking about the critiques. Like I said, it's not on one person across the board, but at the same time, we ain't gonna act like Canada didn't have a hand in it either. I'm not about to be over here on the whole, hey, it was Canada. I'm not on that either. But yeah, there were certain things where I'm like, yo, we could have been better here. That's the feel for it part that, yeah, we have talked about at times with Canada. I think for both of them, though, this upcoming week, they're getting back on that same page because this was the first time really in a couple of weeks where we've seen it look off again. It's like, yo, man, our receivers and quarterback, the timing is just off. Screen game, timing just off. Everything just look just off, just a little bit off. And it's like, yo, even the back shoulder throws, the bread and butter. It's like, yo, just off.
Yeah, 3 or 4 times. Kenny and Deontay just
and
not
that
off.
was the part where I'm just like, all right, is this just one of the ones today? But that's, part of what you got to think through also, because we have seen the back shoulders work. We have seen him hit Deontay. We have seen just better usage of the running back room. But we still got to play better, though. Today's show is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. The top-rated sportsbooking app in North America. Safe, secure, and more importantly, it is reliable. I mean, we use it. We are users of the app. But whenever we're talking about, anything on this channel, we typically have promo codes or something for the consumer, which is you guys, all right? So if it's your first time using the DraftKings Sportsbook app and you download that thing, okay, well, it's time to put that first initial bet in. Minimum of $5. But if you do that and place the promo code MOATS, when you do that, you will receive up to $200 in free bets. I mean, it's a dope concept, man. It's one of the things that, I definitely like for myself. But at the same time, I can understand that not everybody is capable of living that DraftKings Sportsbook life. Some people may have it or may know somebody that has a gambling problem, might be in need of crisis counseling or even referral services. And for certain people that live in New York, it's a number you could text or call. But for everybody else, the number to dial is 1-800-GAMBLER. I said 1-800-GAMBLER.